Sure, we don't always get them right.
That's true. That's fair.
It's fine.
That's fair. Playing Ducks up against Bulldogs.
Look,
Gotta find
I know you're sad because the Playing Ducks just lost.
It bums me out, man.
Okay, I know they just got gobbled up by that big angry Bulldog.
He's scary over there, isn't he? Not nearly as chill as my duck with the goggles looking fresh that you don't wear in hockey apparently, and I didn't know.
The hair does look good.
That's it, isn't it? So what are so then when do you wear goggles and like what sport? Is that like
it's like swimming.
Is that it? You don't protect your eyes in any other sport?
No, you don't wear goggles.
I guess not. Your eyes are so vulnerable though.
You wear them. You wear goggles if you're like Dr. Octopus. That's like it. No one else wears goggles unless they're in a pool.
What a good ending.
That was pretty good.
We don't want to ruin it for those out there, but it's good.
Yeah. There's like they call them sports goggles, but those are really glasses. Like,
sure.
That's glasses, you know. So some players need to like wear glasses all the time. They don't have contacts or something.
Did Cerberus impress you enough to go right back to it #1 pick from game 1 though? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. Cerberus is obviously very good. I just don't know if it was like doing enough for them.
It enabled the Zeus for sure. And with the current bans, I think I would have liked to see Playing Ducks leave open Freya or Athena or one of these gods where if you're in that first pick position, you have that position of power where you can kind of shift picks and bans to at least guarantee yourself one really, really top tier character.
Right.
I don't know that Cerberus is the top end, but I love that you pair it with the Agni right away. TPC looked so much better on this Agni when he went to it towards the end of last week than he did on his other god, so I think this is a great look.
It's going to be strong for him, but already Sobek and Cucullin being picked up for Bulldogs, so again, prioritizing that front line. And now it's starting to look like they are going to be going with that support Sobek, right? Because Cucullin's got to go to the solo lane, I'm thinking, right, for him. So see if they can get as much out of it from the dual lane Sobek this time.
Yeah, that is curious to me that they're picking Sobek Cucullin back-to-back. Maybe they are worried that Playing Ducks is going to pick it up, but that does tell. Well, no, it could be Cucullin jungle. I think that actually probably is what it's going to be. I think it'll be Cucullin jungle, Sobek solo. I just don't see a reason why picking Cucullin that early. Well, maybe not. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Sobek, it feels so good in the solo lane too, so you really want to put him over there. But another curious one is picking Giannis into the Susano matchup. We often talk about how good Susano is against Giannis because he's able to follow him through the portal so well.
Agreed.
But Bulldog's unafraid of that matchup.
I would have liked to see GunTeR Warrior go back to another classic mid laner. I think Poseidon would have been great here. I think Poseidon against Susano and Agni and Cerberus can be very, very strong. I think he's very underrated right now in what he brings. I think the Book of Thoth is a really great item for him because historically one of his problems has been mana sustain. Book of Thoth really does fill that role.
Ducks electing to pass the ban, and Bulldogs banning away more junglers, even with Susano already on the board. Very interesting. They want to take away the Robin and the Unbots already, so they might not be trusting where that Susano is going. But Bulldogs going to lock in the on-her pick for themselves. No more of that late game hunter we saw last time. They want to start brawling right away.
Kumbhakarna does mean that Cerberus is in the solo lane for sure. That also lends me to think that Sobek is just a better solo laner because he can interrupt Ghastly Breath very easily, which isn't like, it's not like when you're playing against Guan Yu where if you interrupt Talu Assault, like you're in an infinitely better position.
Right.
Cerberus, if he's got a bad lane matchup for Ghastly Breath, just levels the Paralyzing Spit and clears the wave basically just as easily. It's just that the Ghastly Breath, when you can max that first, ends up being so good for poke.
Well, you definitely want to call the audible right on the Sobek support, I think, into the Jing Wei especially, right? If you were thinking Sobek support, you definitely don't want to do it now. But now with the Ratatosker coming in, that's got to be going in the jungle, I'm thinking. So maybe it still is Sobek support here at this point.
Maybe Rat support. Or
Cucullin
support. We can see those. I do not like picking the Ratatosker into the Jing Wei. I also don't love... I just don't love Rat into this composition in general. Right here for Bulldogs. I think that you have a lot better selections. Hunbats being banned by themselves is a bit unfortunate, as it is actually Cucullin solo. So we're going through all these crazy scenarios, and it just ends up being the most obvious one right in front of our faces. But Dave played so well on the Sobek that I'm pretty surprised they're willing to take him off of it. I don't know. I just think that there are better assassins in that spot than Ratatosker for Arya. Or go back to the Erlang.
Yeah, no reason why not to. And go ahead and make sure you vote for us too. The Mixer poll certainly should be up for you. And get those thoughts in on if you like this draft from Bulldog. But we'll see if they can make this work here for him, as Wormy and Ryden are going to go start at the red buff. Even with the on-her, they just didn't trust that clear up against the Jing Wei.
On-her, despite being very good at fighting in the early game, is not very good at clearing in the early game. So, I mean, neither is Jing Wei, but Kumbhakarna Jing Wei is just such an annoying kill lane to go up against.
Yeah.
I think that's why we see them start at their own buff. Take a look at Toxic start. Picks up Mask 1 alongside Warrior's Blessing. You know what you get for Mask 1.
I think it's like 50 health or something, right?
Hey, you also get 50 mana. 500 gold for 50 health and 50 mana. That is, without a doubt, the least gold efficient item in the entire game.
It's not
and
good.
I can't imagine it's close.
No, it's not good.
So starting it here is also not good. I would rather get the 6% movement speed from Boots 1 for 500 gold than 50 health and 50 mana.
I mean, he must really want whatever mask is going to be going on early
But
on.
what mask
and then
did he
also,
even get?
yeah, what mask does he want first item? Curious, isn't it, at this point? He's got the tier 1, so the world is still open to him at this point. He can kind of go any route. It's not like he's in messengers already when it's Bumbas. We'll see where he goes from here as SARPEII takes a bunch of poke from Giannis Ratatoskin.
Basic plucked back in, but Radu knocked up nicely by White Noise.
It's definitely not going to work against DaveJr on Kakala and rushing Boots, right? That's got to be rough. He's going to have so much pressure, I feel like. But it's Tyr, who's looking good early on here.
Well, Cerberus just does such great poke damage, especially when you can't interrupt Ghastly Breath and you can't really run away with it, or run away from it because it slows you at the same time. That's why Cerberus is so good in the solo lane, is that he plays less like a warrior, or less like a guardian rather, and more like a warrior in that lane. But it's just that this Mask 1 throws off his entire build path, right? I mean, you end up, okay, let's say he doesn't pick up a mask first item. He goes Boots. Well, then he just delayed his Boots to get 50 health and 50 mana.
No, with this start, you have to go the mask. There's no reason to do it otherwise, right?
Agreed, but I think that's also bad because you're dealing percentage more damage and you've got 0 power. Like, you're not dealing anymore, really. I mean, it just doesn't work out quite as nicely that way. Sure, I mean, it'll deal more, but you also take more, and your health pool is so low.
This is trouble, though, for DaveJr. Stun comes through, paralyzing spit, first blood for SARPEII, and that's a good sign if you're a playing Ducks fan out there. SARPEII getting rolling early on the Susanoo.
Not a great start for DaveJr., however, as that Boots rush just doesn't seem to be working out so well. That Cerberus is just poking him out so easily, and you got to wonder if he goes Warrior's Blessing into a round shield, you know, picks up some magical defense and a runic shield or something like that. It could be Anchile or runic shield next, but it's got to be one of those two in this lane, I think. If you want to keep the, you're not picking up Pestilence or Genji's Guard next item if you're Dave, because you don't want to let up the gas even though you're now behind.
Right.
I think that it's pretty important to stay in your lane and still pick up the aggressive lane options here, which would be either Runic or Anchile.
Yeah, Tyr also has the Blink to get started off with, and Cerberus can be rather good with Blink. Stygian Torment is excellent initiation, but I mean, talk to you about it so early on. It's not going to help him in this lane matchup very much, I don't imagine. And no, he's going right into Boots.
It's like if you're leasing a car, okay? If you're leasing a car and they're like, okay, you put $2,000 down now, and that'll bring your monthly payment down, and ultimately you will not have to pay that extra $2,000. And instead, Toxic goes, nah, I like to pay the full amount, and I'm also going to buy this scooter that I'm not going to use. It's like a scooter that doesn't get you anywhere.
It's like the wheel of a scooter.
Right, like what? It's like a scooter, but you need it to commute somewhere. And it's like, this isn't going to be useful. Like, I have it, but it doesn't really do anything for me. That's this mask. And he still pays the full amount for the car, which is the Boots.
We'll see if we can make that work out for him, as he has been knocked up and interrupted. Stun off the mark, though, from Arya, which should mean that Tyr is out of there. Up into the air now is Arya with the ultimate, but the fight feels largely over. He's going to use that to reposition towards the bus. Nothing here. In fact, he's going to run right into TPC.
TPC, stun, not there for him. That would have been a good opportunity to chase out the beads, but Arya a little bit too quick and is able to get away.
I can't believe it.
Arya actually starts with that mace instead of starting on Acorn 2. So this is a kind of a high-risk, high-reward start, where if you get early kills and you end up having that extra power from mace and are able to finish your Acorn quickly, then it feels insane. But it takes so long to get your Acorn without just holding that gold from getting Acorn 2 that I don't really think it's worth it. Again, it can be really good, but I think I'd prefer to see Arya have start with just Acorn 2, pick up your Acorn 3 right away. Maybe he'd even get some kill on that right-hand side if he has that on a Toxic. Well, he would have had to punch through that 50 health.
And land the stun. But you're right. So that's got to be what it is, even though starting the Tier 1 Boots lets him kind of finish off into it faster, as DaveJr in more trouble in the solo side. SARPEII puts him down underneath the Tier 1 one more time. I mean, say what we want, they're tearing it up in the solo lane so far.
They certainly are. It has nothing to do with the mask.
No.
That's all it is. It's really that Toxic has been playing this well. DaveJr. has not been respecting the damage that Cerberus can do, and doesn't really have a choice to respect it, to be fair. I mean, Cucullin has 1 speed. Like, you don't tower hug as Cucullin particularly well. His abilities don't reach very far. You need to use 2 to clear the wave. It's not easy to tower hug as Cucullin at any given point. But it does mean that you have this option to where if you get ganks now from Arya, I mean, Toxic is going to die as long as Arya lands the kit, because he goes into a Messenger's Mask now, which is a good item. It has good stats, but that's not what I want on my solo laner.
That's what Tyr has now, though, to try and help him out, as he does have the lead up over Dave. We haven't seen, I feel like, much from this Blink. Maybe here's a chance from use to reposition, but no. Doesn't want to go with that one either. So he has the messengers, has some of those nice stats that kind of, it feels almost like a bridge item, but even more efficient, right? Because it's just so cheap, but it's going to help Toxic out a little bit here in the meantime.
It just feels like Arya needs to be here more often than SARPEII has been here. And SARPEII has been here an awful lot.
Here he is again.
Check it out. Here he comes again. And right in time for blue.
Yeah, that's why they're here, for the blue buff spawn. But also so is Arya. He's here to help defend it. And it looks like they're not going to take the fight. They have a chance to lock down Wormy, but he repositions as well and makes it back out of there. So instead, DaveJr. should make it out. But now SARPEII is the first one here. Stygian Torment won't land. Arya does go up into the air and has the chance to come in and try and impact this fight. Knock up on his SARPEII chunk. Woo! And the through space and time hits. There's the fight that Bulldog needed. A double for the Rat.
And just like that, that sets Arya ahead of SARPEII. For all the work SARPEII has put in on this right-hand side, to go back to my car analogy, SARPEII has been diligently paying his monthly bill, and then Arya comes in and buys the car with cash and just makes you feel really horrible about yourself, because now he has the brand new car and is looking to do some joyriding right now, because now he can really start putting pressure on the solo lane. And sure, Messenger's Mask from ahead in solo or really from anywhere feels really, really good, but in solo lane in particular, if you fall behind with Messenger's Mask, now you've spent a good chunk of gold. Sure, it's cheap, but it's still gold. And you're just not tanky enough to compete whenever you get ganked. The through space and time was nice that it hit from GunTeR Warrior, and it's cool, but it really wasn't necessary. Toxic was dead.
He certainly was, and he had to hoof it back in the lane here as well, too. Because, again, doesn't have the teleport available to him, and he ends up losing a little bit more farm. He has Tier 1 breastplate to help, but Raiden is the one that needs some help. Maybe not! Desert Fury, point blank, removes SARPEII. Highlight and delete out of there.
Never come to my lane ever again.
Yeah, don't say my name.
Yeah, you don't get to play in my lane anymore ever again. That's what Raiden's telling him right now, and for good reason. My man ate the full Desert's Fury. Like the fury of the desert, he felt it all.
And that's why he was back at base. DaveJr. in some trouble now. Is not going to get the trade. Tyr managed to punish him one more time, but TPC wants to return the favor through space and time. Point blank finds that one, and it looks like Tyr does end up falling once Arya rotates over.
Arya dunked him with that through the Cosmos, so 1 for 1 on that right-hand side, but Dave will have teleport when he respawns, whereas, again, Toxic will be walking back to base.
Maybe he could blink out, at least for that little extra move.
Well, it's a shorter cooldown than teleport, so you can actually use it more often. That way, yeah, you blink over, you leap and then you blink.
Do you know how much shorter is it? 20 seconds?
No, it's shorter by a lot. It's shorter by over a minute.
Wow. Okay, so every minute that you would be able to use that you wouldn't have been able to use
blink,
teleport.
And think about how
many units is it, right?
Yeah, how many units and how much time does it take you to cross those units?
Right.
And does that mathematically add up to
it
being
never will.
faster?
No, we know that to be absolute certainty.
No.
Plus, he also has not been doing that.
He hasn't done it once.
Yes, so even if it were true, it's not true here.
But that would be cool. What if Tyr Toxic is like a math major and just like figured that out one day? Was like, yeah, if I just blink, if I back every time my blink is up and blink every time, if I blink 7 times, I'll have done more than I could have with teleport.
Just barely in that case. Is Wormy now in a little bit of trouble. He's been caught out by SARPEII and basic. GunTeR considering joining his friend or putting down a portal, but thought better. Wormy's out of there, no problem. And Tyr gonna again be able to pull DaveJr. under tower.
Dave this time a little bit healthier though, and is able to fend off Toxic as Wormy serving up basic nice and easy, and some final basics will be the end of the support.
GunTeR Warrior is the one that gets the kill for that too, to keep this Giannis nice and topped off. TPC unfortunately could only watch as his support goes down. But Bulldog have started to answer back into this one. Yeah, there were some troubles in solo early on, but you wouldn't know that if you just looked at Arya and GunTeR. I mean, they seem to be quite comfortable at this point, 5-0-2 between the two of them.
Very much so, and they're semi-global. In the case of Ratatoskr, global ultimate pressure in the form of this Giannis through space and time means that lead is very easy to transition into other lanes. But Toxic is really the only one whose lane hasn't been completely in Bulldog's control. But even now, it's starting to go back towards Bulldog a little bit, despite the 0-3 scoreline for Dave.
And this Gold Fury could certainly change things as well. No one is nearby. That's as easy as they come for Bulldog, so they forced that one down. Interestingly enough, Playing Ducks just couldn't be there for that one. A Sentry looks like was around, and that let them control the vision. But GunTeR going with the Book of Thoth here early. It's something we see in a lot of mages, but do you see it on Giannis?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times you see cooldown prioritized.
You can go with either way. I've always been a fan of cooldown Giannis, as White Noise walks away unscathed.
Hot jukes.
I just think that lots of characters can provide burst damage through Book of Thoth. No other character can provide the same level of team utility that Giannis does. And so I think that playing to your character's strengths is more valuable.
SARPEII repositions Desert Fury, hits home one more time, gives him the replay on that one. Through space and time doesn't find much, but Unstable Vortex does. Arya can't land much. In fact, dies to the Path of Flames. Oh no!
You hate to see it.
You absolutely do.
You really hate to see it. Arya, apparently today.
Stygian Torment does control too, but again, on her able to beat his way right on out of that one. Wormy now in a little bit of trouble as he's coming on the backside. TPC brings him down. Yet another Path of Flames victim, it would appear, and Playing Ducks find 2 nice kills.
A little bit of an overextension from Bulldog, and Playing Ducks, to their credit, they haven't been particularly good at staying ahead, but they have done a pretty nice job of fighting while still behind. And that's a skill that top-end teams definitely need to learn. There will be games where you just won't get leads for one reason or another, and you got to be able to play from behind pretty nicely. And so it's definitely a skill set now for Playing Ducks, but it's nice to get a lead every once in a while.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. As this is DaveJr. here stealing away your mid-Harpies 13 minutes into the game. He'll be, as a teleporter, he wants to teleport back in the lane, but looks like he's just going to hoof it back over. Tier does have some pressure going.
I'm sorry, the way you worded that made it sound like that was Dave Jr.'s like voicemail message. Like, hi, this is Dave Jr. stealing away your mid camps in 14 minutes.
Right. That's kind of how I wanted it to feel.
Well, that was good. Yeah, Dave, if you want to record that, I highly recommend it.
Get that played back as White Noise going to try and catch off Wormy, but at this point, Sobek truly cares not for your Jingwei damage and just kind of walks away.
Problem is, Raiden is going to be a huge issue for Playing Ducks in these team fights. But look at this on the right-hand side, a double split push going on from both SARPEII and Toxic, and through space and time is an easy defense out of Bulldog.
So they make it back over and defend that one on the right-hand side. Arya can't find his way into White Noise, but again, low health has not deterred Arya so far from re-engaging as the Ratatoskr. They strip away the purple, force Jingwei back, and are able to regroup one more time.
Good communication between Arya and Dave in this game, just based on build pass. Less about what's going on in the team fights. It's nice impale from Raiden. Not about team fight communication, but about build path communication. I was saying that Dave could really go for Anchile or for Runic Shield. And I think that him picking up Runic and Arya picking up the Anchile is a great way to split the difference. Both are so effective against a team composition of Playing Ducks. It's great not only against the Toxic, but against TPC and Basic as well. Stops the auto attack cancel into Epic Uppercut off of the Mez. If someone like Toxic or TPC hits you as Basic is about to root you, it'll cancel out Groggy Strike with that silence. Anchile's so good in this spot that someone definitely needed it, but I like that Dave and Arya don't overlap.
Did we see a pre-level 12 relevant blink from Tier?
I believe he blinked on right side during a gank around Fire Giant. Or I could have dreamt that.
I just don't know.
It was at best 1.
Right. I just don't know why it's so early on this relic.
Maybe, did he blink it on left side when he rotated to a duo?
He might have blinked in there with the Stygian Torment. Yes. But I mean, again, if that had been teleported, he probably could have teleported back in and done that same thing with Blink. But yes, I don't know that we've seen a ton of value out of it here early. But to be fair, he was winning this lane early on. It was only after Arya rotated in and got that double kill that things were turned around. There's a lot of action, but not anyone really in any danger. Now it could be Basic who's in a little bit of trouble in mid. TPC there is for the follow-up. Epic uppercut controls GunTeR for the moment, but he should be okay.
GunTeR just outranges all the damage from TPC, and TPC's really not doing that much damage. One of the few downsides of this Bancroft's Talon build is that when you're at full health, you don't really do as much as you feel like you should be doing a lot of the time. It's not until you drop around half that you start to feel the real power that Bancroft provides.
Pretty nice early item as DaveJr does hit everyone with that mess. TPC brought down to half HP. Tier just looking for what relevant poke he can find. This is a relevant trade. Gold Fury is about to come up shortly, so depending on how much is lost here, one team could go for it. As Arya can't find the knockup, doesn't full commit in there to make it happen. And that means playing Ducks are A-okay.
Curious ult angle from Arya, kind of just announcing that he's ulting, and TPC still cool under pressure. Had both relics available, wasn't worried about getting knocked up. The only real wombo combo available to Bulldog is a through space and time off of through the Cosmos, but because TPC was backpedaling and saw the ult coming the whole way, it wasn't as scary.
Gold Fury now being looked at by playing Ducks. They know Arya's ultimate is down. They're going to just burn it right through, but Bulldog struck it away. Was that through space in time? It looked like it was. Arya now has forced the Aegis out from TPC, will reposition with the portal, and a huge fight for Bulldog.
And a portal gets Raiden in position to put some pressure onto White Noise. White Noise does manage to at least get away from him, though Wormy's still hunting.
Not going to be able to find the pluck now with the minions here now, but he's going to lock him down with the tail whip. Arya will come in to finish the job. DaveJr just soaking up some shots for the fun of it, and now Bulldog able to take down the tier 1.
Should be a tier 2 as well, because look at how spread out playing Ducks are. They head to the right-hand side instead of respecting the amount of push power that Bulldog will have on the left. So losing gold there, super unfortunate. It happens. Losing tier 1, probably can't avoid that after the team fight. Tier 2 in left and tier 1 in mid are both very avoidable outcomes. And playing Ducks, I said that they've been team fighting well from behind, and I maintain that that's still true. But their macro game when falling behind definitely needs some help.
They're getting punished for it to the tune of 7,000 gold, 7,800 experience. And it really does feel like we're seeing a different Bulldog team here, doesn't it? I mean, it's been a couple of really nice plays, but otherwise, I think this game 2 has been mostly playing Ducks. The big fight in solo lane where Arya comes up big comes to mind, and then just now with the Gold Fury steal, and then a bunch of objectives on the back end of it come to mind too. But it feels like outside of those two things, which are very big and you shouldn't excuse, it's been playing Ducks. They've just had these momentary lapses.
And that'll cost you at this level.
Yes.
It's not like your ranked games where, you know, it's really just who manages to throw last, basically, a lot of the time it feels like. You can manage to hold your throw until later on. But overall, at this level, you will get punished for those little missteps. And credit to Bulldog, they've done a good job of doing the punishing.
Now it's Raiden, though, who's in some trouble. SARPEII, TPC, Basic, everyone's here. He jumps away, but the blink pulls him right back in. Beads allow him to immune it. Doesn't have Desert Fury anymore. He used that on White Noise. Gets controlled by Stygian Torment, but SARPEII is in trouble in the back end. Arya just removes him.
Raiden's still alive for the moment as well. Keeps juking. GunTeR Warriors
There's no way.
Has Book of the Dead, and indeed Raiden is able to escape and get back to base. Actually stopped in the back as Arya is managing to keep up with White Noise. That is, that's a heartbreaker.
That really is. You saw that surrender vote coming out to sort of belay the frustration, as now there's nowhere for Toxic to go. 4 members for 0, because again, Raiden made it back out. A huge fight in Bulldog's favor. One more time. It just feels like these missed opportunities for playing Ducks that's really hurting them. More so than Bulldog's playing particularly well. They are capitalizing, but it feels like Ducks are beating themselves.
Well, to be fair, even if playing Ducks kill Raiden in that spot, they still get nearly wiped. I mean, they lose 4 for 1 in that spot, but you're basically looking at Toxic.
But they hesitate on the commitment to Raiden. They're kind of waiting in the jungle. They wait till they go in. If they do that cleanly right away, then I think they get the pick and leave.
Maybe. I just don't know that they can kill Raiden without Toxic committing the ultimate in that spot. It's just that someone needed to actually follow up off of the ultimate instead of backing up because of that through space and time ultimate. And that's what through space and time does. It forces you to make really hard decisions. Do we commit to this pick? Do we commit and try and push forward? Do we back up and get split up? You know, what are we doing? And that's where the cohesive voice really needs to be there. And not even just a cohesive voice, but the whole team just has to have natural instincts. And there's individual instincts and then there's team instincts on this is where my team is going to be. This is where my team needs me to be. This is what this guy's going to do in response to this situation, so here's what I'm going to do to help in that spot. And that takes forever to build. It's very difficult. But at the SPL level, a lot of these teams being together for a long time, in a situation like that, there's not a call to say, hey, let's commit to this and then we'll take the fight afterwards, because that's a lot to call in the middle of a team fight. Instead, it's just the team knows we are committing to this. That is the tone that we went into this fight with. This is what we always do in this spot. And then we will take the fight as it comes after that. And when teams start to split up and break up in those team fights, that's when that team chemistry still needs a little bit of work a lot of times.
Bulldog now, though, with that recent Fire Giant they grabbed for themselves, have removed all the Tier 2 towers on the Order side of the map. 14,000 gold out in front, 16,000 experience, and Gold Fury going to make all those numbers even worse. I mean, at this point in the contest, all of those numbers are relevant too. I mean, the gold disparity, the experience disparity hurt fully. Only DaveJr and Arya are level 20, so those leads won't be getting any bigger, but Terra and SARPEII are way behind.
Plus, these high to the urchins for Bulldog, I mean, these fights, there's going to be kills. And these fights, specifically kills for Bulldog. And these fights at this rate, it'll be difficult for playing Ducks to be able to punch that protection just based on levels alone. Then you add in the urchin stacks, it's going to be rough.
Messenger's Mask still chilling there as well for Toxic. It looks like he didn't want to upgrade that fully to the Bumbas at this point. So he's just kind of hanging out with those nice Tier 2 stats, which are certainly nice, but it all you just think so much about the start of how this went for them, about some of the missed opportunities for playing Ducks, and how quickly this one kind of got out of control for them, because it really seemed like with Toxic and SARPEII's pressure on DaveJr early, they could have transitioned us into more, but really they just couldn't.
They could not, and I don't think the Messenger Mask helped. I'll put it that way. Do I think that was the end-all be-all and the entire reason? No. It's very rarely a one problem or a one solution problem. And whenever you lose a lead or end up losing a fight, it's very rarely only one thing. But I do think that the Messenger's Mask start is a culprit. He's guilty by association.
Sure. It certainly doesn't help, right? If there is one small wrong thing, you know, you can definitely point to it as Arya's up in the air. Looks like Bulldog are full in on trying to make this commitment happen. They control Toxic a bit. Arya doesn't find anyone with the knockup, but he's looking for White Noise in the back. Forces out the airstrike early on, as Phoenix is still relatively healthy on the back end.
Could pick up SARPEII, though, and indeed he does. Might even be able to take this 1v1 up against White Noise. The double knockup stun, perfect from Arya, but now he's got to handle TPC.
And he indeed will find the double kill. Arya, the real hero here. Aegis comes out as well, but somehow the Phoenix still standing. Now it's finally under some duress and will come down. Bulldog Esports grab the first Phoenix of the game. They are a bit low, in particular Arya and Raiden, but they should be able to heal up a little bit, go back and get the minions, and push down mid 2. It's a 5v3.
Man, Arya was so tanky right there. I mean, he was in the midst of so many players. That's where Masamune really helps you because of the passive. The more players that are around you, the tankier you get. That Void Shield was great, and the extra Urchin stacks certainly don't hurt him in that spot. Felt like White Noise was peppering him with auto attacks, and they just were bouncing off of him.
He was able to find the damage he needed, and he basically went in. It felt like largely alone there. He didn't even get the knockup really off of his ultimate. No. He used it just to close the distance and then dashed in onto White Noise. And the rest of his team, they trust him to handle the 4v3 essentially on the backside as he had 2 members busy, and it works out. Bulldog now have grabbed the Phoenix. The Fire Giant buff has fallen off, so they've fallen back too. They still have 2 more Phoenixes to go grab and some work to get done, but they are way, way out in front.
Fire Giant's coming up in 20 seconds, and this will be enhanced for whichever team is able to pick it up. It's post 25 minutes, and a Fire Giant has died, so that FG buff gets even stronger, not only against structures, but against players as well. That ends up being a big deal in these late-game sieges. It's also a pretty big deal. Emperor's Armor for Wormy finished off. That'll make these sieges that much easier. Not even close.
Not even close. Able to get that back off. Never blinked. His Fire Giant should be theirs. GunTeR does eventually elect to go into that Chronos Pennant. Looks like that's been his bottom item here, or his most recent item that he's completed up here. So he does have a ton of cooldown between that and the cooldown boots. He eventually went that route, but wanted to start with the Book of Thoughts.
No Soul Gem, which is a little curious. Where do you fit it in the way that he's built so far? I think is kind of the answer. I do think that 6-item Soul Gem, if it gets to that point, for GunTeR Warrior would be ideal. Finish off his CDR. Sure, he'd be overcapped with Purple Pot. Can I just say, that argument from chat, every time someone goes, oh, you're overcapped in CDR from Purple Pot, drives me insane. It's like, yeah, I'm only buying this Purple Pot because of the 10% CDR it gives me. None of the other stats are relevant to me whatsoever.
No, they're not. Yeah, they're not. I mean,
could you sell pen boots and pick up?
Why are you giving chat a hard time? I thought we didn't do that, by the way.
I'm talking about my chat.
Oh, I see.
My chat tells me that. And
so it's even worse. They're distilled aggro fans, and they really are the worst. You're exactly right.
They're the worst about that, yeah. And I'll tell it to them straight to their face.
Sure.
And they'll love me for it.
For some reason. They don't know yet. The charm wears off.
It really does. You think that I don't do it often just because I'm lazy or something like that? No, it's because I know you'll hate me if I do it more often. You got to spread it out.
Bulldog going for it one more time. Arya up in the air, and they're ready to push right in. They don't have SARPEII for this one, too, so they're missing a big tool. White Noise is able to dash off the knockup, but he doesn't find much there. Arya does. Instead, he's going to come back for the collapse onto the back end. Left side Phoenix already down. Playing Ducks on the retreat, and they've made their target here. It's the Kumbhakarna.
Basic does end up falling, though. It was close. As Raiden trying to outrange Toxic. He does so, but Basic is going to respawn.
He's going to make it back up. Raiden can't quite track down Toxic, who's able to reposition, it looks like, thanks to the Impale. So Phoenix is down. Stun land as well. There's Arya finally putting Toxic out of his misery. TPC in some trouble as well. Aegis allows him to get the dash, but who else would be waiting but Arya, who now finds a double.
10, 1, and 4 for the Ratatosker. And excuse me if I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but Arya is your Game 2 MVP.
You should vote for him.
Vote for him.
As the Titan is now under siege. Bulldog storming the base, and nothing Playing Ducks can do. It does bring a very small tear to my eye, but I'm even happier to see Bulldog looking this strong, as they haven't had much success so far, but now able to come out, find that win up against Playing Ducks, and in all honesty, they look really strong doing it.
I wonder if they made some changes between the last few weeks and now, because that team looks really, really good, especially with knowing that Playing Ducks had such a close matchup against Insomnia. Like, how did Bulldogs end up going 0-2 so far? But certainly able to get their first victory and a well-earned one. They looked really, really strong.
And they made it off just a couple key plays. Who's your MVP? We've already said you need to be voting for Arya there, but the play around Soul Lane comes to mind, right? The Gold Fury steal that gives way to two Tier 2 towers comes to mind as well. Really, Bulldogs capitalized off their opportunities very well.
But I think you said it during the cast, where Playing Ducks need to do a better job of putting themselves in winning positions. And it's not just winning positions, but sometimes it's the not losing position, like not losing your Tier 2 on left after a Gold Fury siege because you went to get blue buff on the other side of the map, and you let a Tier 1 tower in mid go down. Yeah. That was a huge swing, because it wasn't just gold in a kill onto White Noise. It was that extra Tier 2 and that extra Tier 1. That's 2,000 gold, not including the Gold Fury, not including the kill onto White Noise, not including the Tier 1 on left, which is guaranteed to go down in that spot, that you just lost. And that's a lot to try and come back from.
And it's so unfortunate because they invest so much, SARPEII and Tier Toxic, early on into that solo lane and getting that ahead, and then they end up losing that in the back end. They can't even keep that. The one area where they had their focus doesn't end up helping them throughout the game. So no surprise that the one who put an end to that, Arya, is selected as the MVP off the back end. And this really is that play where it really all sets up. They find this big double kill here for him. The through space and time clips as well, and really just kind of sets it in motion. Quick
double that put him ahead of SARPEII and was really able to hold on to the lead ever since then. This fight is pretty absurd. I mean, look at how long he has his relics for. Is just sitting on top of White Noise, who has a poison star, by the way. And it's just him, and he just takes no damage at all. A good ultimate there from GunTeR Warrior as well. Gave him an easy portal out of danger. Just really good team play from Bulldogs.
I'm a little surprised it took them that long to get the Phoenix. If he's keeping like two people busy,
what was everyone else doing?
Yeah, Arya. If I'm Arya, I'm going off in comms. Like, I got everybody back here. Take it, please. You know, I mean, yeah, great play from him.
I mean, I think the front line of Kumbhakarna and of Tier Toxic were up there for a little bit. Specifically Toxic, I think, got Raiden low during that, but maybe he should have turned to just kill Arya because Arya's dash was down, his ultimate was down. Sure, he's got relics, but we can kill him through those pretty easily. That would have opened up the Phoenix, but maybe it's a tough call in that sort of spot to say if you want to go for the objective defense or just kill the guy who's killing your entire backline.
But that's the point. I mean, Arya shouldn't... One person shouldn't be able to put you in that situation where you have to make that tough a call, but Arya gets it done for him up against White Noise. Huge game for the Bulldog as they find their win, but we're still not done. We got more console action, specifically PS4, coming your way. A quick break, we'll get the game ready and be right back.